So I was recently asked to participate in a game development competition against 5 other developers, where the main prize would be $5,000. This is for the Blackthornprod YouTube channel, who I've participated in their Pass the Game challenges before. This is my first time competing against other developers instead of working alongside them. And how did it go? Well, I lost, so there you go. So I wanted to make a quick, unscripted little video talking about the challenge, which is why I've got this terrible camera and we're going to be working outside of my usual video editing style. But I just wanted to talk about it because as of recording, we had the last judging panel this morning where I found out that I wouldn't be moving on to the next round. So I made it through to the semi-finals where there were 4 of us and I didn't make it to the final. So to start the challenge, we were given a theme and we had 1 week to make a game. And the theme was momentum. And my idea was magnets, because you can push and pull and move them around and change the whole world around you. So I wanted to think outside of the box, because I knew that everyone's ideas would be about continuously moving around and trying to gain momentum through physics or some sort of other mechanics that were a bit more obvious. So I tried to stay away from that. So I started off with being able to pull and push just these little prototype blocks around to get the mechanics down before I came up with the idea for the story, where you are a character who's woken up mysteriously with magnetic powers and you don't know what's going on, and you're able to pick these little scrap up, throw them around, and you're able to zip across and fly around to these sort of poles and different areas of the map that would help with combat in some sort of way. And I also came up with the idea that your ammo is also your health, because you can pull the magnets in and use them as a protective barrier that spin around you. I then spent most of my first week coming up with the pixel art design and the style and just the way it would look, and figuring out the layers and how everything's supposed to interact with each other, because you shoot things across the map and they interact with some things like these acid pits and they'll crash into the walls, but with some enemies and different things. So there's kind of deeper layer physics going on than I actually anticipated originally. And by the end of the week I managed to finish a complete level with some basic enemies that just shoot at you and run at you. And to complete the level, you've got to go find the 2 key cards and take them to the door so you can exit and move on to the next level. And then we had our first meeting where the judges would judge us. I think I went in pretty confident, so I wasn't as nervous as I was for the second round, but we'll get into that soon.
Okay, Thomas, announce the second semi-finalist.
Ginger's game, Polarity Shift.
Thank you.
I thought you did such a good job of so many things with the game. I saw how you structured different elements where you can teleport around, and I felt like you really carried the theme of momentum in that, where you as a player are trying to build momentum as you fly around, and also having your health double as your ammunition. It's just really fun.
But yeah, I managed to get through. There were 4 developers left, and then we had 1 week to complete it. There was another twist given out a little bit later, so I still had a couple of days to come up with everything before that twist came along. I just got straight into working on the assets because I needed more. I needed the level to be different. I just needed more stuff that didn't feel like you were running around the same level. So I came up with an idea that's a hybrid level of office space with a laboratory that has some closed off rooms, just to make it feel a bit different. There's less acid pits and other things in the ground and less things for you to zip around in, so you've got to use the environment to duck and weave and dodge around everything. And there's just a whole lot of new assets and environments, like these office chairs and laptops and desks and things and rubbish bins that you can throw at people, that I thought would be kind of a fun environment sort of thing going on. And then in this level we also have the ability to upgrade the player. So you've got this big electric arc reactor thing that you can walk into, that you can upgrade by using these pickup items that you can find scattered in some of the maps. For the rest of the level, I also came up with 2 brand new enemies. Got a guy that shoots a shotgun, and we've got these little turrets that move back and forth. And then I added this little section down here, which is a nice little puzzle for the player to figure out, so they can get an extra upgrade if they want and progress further in that. And it's in this level where I wanted to deliver a little bit more of the story in an immersive storytelling kind of way. So to get through the next door, you've got to find an employee ID card, and when you go and find it, it pops up and it shows you that it's your ID card and you actually work at this facility that you've mysteriously woken up in. And then you've got to run over and enter in a keypad number, which delivers a little bit more story, saying that you've been disabled and there's something that's telling you that you've committed treason, before a little NPC runs over and helps you to carry on to the next level. This keypad kind of took up a whole evening because I had to draw up the pixel art and make it function and just get it all working and get the swipe card working, which I thought was kind of a fun interaction. Probably spent a bit too much time on it, but then again, I don't know. I think it was kind of worth it to deliver this little bit of story, just make it a little bit more interactive outside of the regular combat and shooting. And then halfway through the week, I think maybe Wednesday or Thursday, we were given the twist, which was we had to contact one of the other developers in the competition and give them another theme. Okay, so I'm going to give you contamination.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. Because that was pretty good. I don't want to give you a crazy bad one. All right, how about I'm going to give you a theme of nature.
Sounds pretty good.
Nice.
I think that might work. So at this point, the level actually looked like this. So I just had the setting, I had just had all the new systems. I hadn't actually designed the map. And even though this is kind of like a small area, it actually took quite a bit of time to plot everything out, draw up all the assets, put it all together, and make everything work. So I didn't finish this map until probably about, I think I said like 1 in the morning. All right, so it's 1 in the morning on Friday night, or Saturday technically. I just got finished with the second level, which kind of took me all week. Kind of just a rough blocked out and finished level with all the things in it. And I've got pretty much 2 days to, I've got less than 2 days to complete the third level, which is actually going to include the theme. So yeah, level design takes a really long time. So my idea for nature was literally nature. Because when I thought of nature, I thought of New Zealand and sheep and farms and all that kind of stuff where I live. But because this game is set in some sort of weird giant corporation factory thing, I went for the angle where you're going through these artificial agricultural areas where you've got trees with big metal blocks attached to them, and you've got cows and sheep that have big artificial gear on top of them, like big pieces of metal gear, because as we know, sheep and cows aren't magnetic, so we needed a way to pick them up, and we also needed a way to zip over to the trees somehow in the environment. The longest part of making this map was actually coming up with the tile set for the grass and the ground. I had a basic tile set, but I had to alter it so we could have all kinds of weird different angles and corners and things going on to create the water. Otherwise, everything would have just been too square and I wouldn't have liked it very much. So that took quite a while. I spent the whole Saturday creating this level and was able to finish that sometime after midnight, or maybe like 1 in the morning or something like that. And that was a completed level. But in this level, we also introduced the new enemy of wasps with wasp nests. So these wasps come out of these big metal wasps come out of these nests. You've got to destroy the nest, otherwise they keep spawning. Every time you kill a wasp, another one spawns. So that was kind of like a fun little mechanic. This one was also a really basic level where you just get the keycard and move on to the next level. I would have liked to included more story, but I kind of ran out of time. I think I might have had like a cutscene somewhere at the end where the NPC that helps you before comes up on the screen and talks to you, kind of like in like a Metal Gear Solid style reference. I think that would be quite fun, but I didn't quite get around to that. So. And it also didn't have a checkpoint, so that was quite funny. So the level's quite long, so if you die, you gotta go from the start. And then came the Sunday rush to put everything together and try polish as much as possible, because even though I'd created these levels, they weren't actually tied together. There were actually no upgrades, there was no upgrade system, just the machine you could go into. So I created a save system so you could pick up the items in the level and it would remember it. And then you can go back and you can have your different levels, your different upgrades per level. So that was all saved just using player prefs. I didn't create a proper save system because everything was just kind of rushed together with last minute code trying to fix everything. But yeah, we created all the abilities at the last minute and put them into the game. And then after I submitted the game, I went to get some sleep before the judging panel where I had to get up at 6 in the morning. I could not sleep that night because I was so much more nervous because everybody else's games were absolutely incredible. They added consistently more stuff. They expanded upon their games a lot more than I did, which I'll get into soon. But at the end of the panel, obviously, I found out I was not moving on.
SlobbyMonk, Ginger, Ninjerish, and we have Joe Sullivan. Each of you had a super wildly different take on the theme momentum, and so the finalist is SlobbyMonk.
So that's cool. All right, so what went wrong? let's analyze this a little bit. So from the judging panel, some of the comments were to do with apparently I had the weakest theme, or they didn't see the theme as much as everyone as all the other games, which shocked me a little bit because I tried to make it the most unique and the most not obvious like everyone else. So, or just a little bit more out of the box. I tried to think of than just keep going and don't stop, like that's the mechanic that other people had. So that's what I tried to avoid because I knew that's what everyone else was doing. But I guess not. There was something about the pixel art being kind of like a detractor compared to the other 3D ones, which is like whatever, that's my style. So, and then there was another one that was less in favor of the game because it was more of a generic shooter, which I'm going to slightly agree with. I wanted to make the game a bit more interesting. I didn't do as much with the mechanics as I should have. It really did boil down to just a third-person shooter with like a little twist. I should have created more puzzles, more interesting ways to deal with dragging and moving things around. But because the level design took so much longer, and drawing all the assets by hand and putting them in the game kind of took away my time to come up with interesting ways to expand and play on the concept. The story itself wasn't... I wasn't able to incorporate the story as strongly as I expected or wanted to in the past, because I've got 2 other jam games which I think I did better than this one. So my intern game, where you run around an office and you do little tasks and stuff, there's a very good loop where you go back to the main office and you get like little bits of dialogue, which I've written a whole script for a game that I could actually turn into a real game with a storyline and like a murder mystery and all this kind of other stuff. Inside of the loop of that game, it's got a more consistent secondary loop of delivering the story and expanding upon tasks. My other game, Outlive, also had a better system with delivering the story by you go out and you got to get back by night, and then a little bit of story happens with some multi-choice dialogue. The problem with this game is I didn't flesh out enough ways to deliver that story as much as I hoped, or I didn't get round to it as much. So I think this game was missing kind of like a more secondary loop stuff, because the core loop was pretty decent, but it's within expanding upon it is kind of where I failed a little bit. I also kind of wish I did a little bit more with the music, because I came up with like 8 bars of music and then just put that on loop, and that was about it. But it set the atmosphere. I had a melody there and it was just too cheesy, so I had to cut it out. So it's basically just like a droning synth and some little bass notes, and that was pretty much it. I think it could have been more in that regard in terms of the music. So the big question is, will I be continuing this game? And at this point, I don't know. It depends. If people really want it, I've got 3 other projects on the go. One that might be out by the time this video comes out. We'll see. Because it's currently August, and I think this video is probably going to come out sometime in September. So we'll see by then. So I'm trying to get foot joust out the door. But then I've got this game, which, like I said, if I wanted to do this game justice, I would have to come up with a ton of more levels and more ways to incorporate the story, and it would be a lot of work. And at this point, I can't just put an end cap on it and call it a day, because it's going to need a little bit more just to finish it off. And doing these game challenges in the past with Blackthornprod, they bring over a couple of 100 subscribers, but generally not enough people, unless like there's a massive rush coming over to the channel and like getting hundreds of comments and this video's got like 10,000 views or something crazy like that, then I'll consider it. But at the moment, it should be up in some sort of state for people to play. So if you want to see more of this game, if heaps and heaps and heaps of you people come and play it, then I'll consider it. But at this point, it's kind of in the state of maybe. I don't know. I think people have to really want it. And it's definitely weaker than my other 2 jam games that I'm a little bit more proud of, and I think I could do a little bit more, and I really want to do more with Intern as a game. But we'll see. So, and a big shout out to all the other developers in the challenge, because we had SlobbyMonk, Joe Sullivan, Zoteling, Tarook, Alex, who all just made absolutely incredible games, and it was a really fun challenge. And it was really lovely to work alongside everyone and compete against them instead of working with them for a change. So that was nice. And I think that's all. I'll probably retroactively add stuff to this video when the actual video comes out and steal some clips from the Blackthornprod video and put them in myself. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please play the game and check it out and let me know what you think. And if you've come here from the Blackthornprod channel, thank you for stopping by.